I said what somebody said. That should no way be taken as those are my thoughts on what should happen. And no way in the world that should happen. That would be insane. Are you kidding me? Are you out of your mind? It's over for Tom. Okay, first of all,
there's a lot.
This is you're right.
He said it.
He's the one that said it. And he said, that he was at the Super Bowl. He had a vodka cranberry in his hand, and people were talking to him. And anyway, he's the guy that actually brought this whole thing out. I think the other important thing about the quote is there's that line at the end that says Tom Brady, it's over with Tom Brady. Or however, we don't exactly know what he means by that.
Exactly.
Maybe he's going to clarify that later. But we're going to move on to other things because, Acho, I think in all of this, you have some thoughts on what Irvin did initially say in bringing this up.
Michael Irvin, he got it right the first time. Now, here's what happened. He got a phone call, and we've all been there. We've all said some dumb stuff, happened to me recently, and you get that phone call from the powers that be, and they're like, hey, I need you to backtrack on what the hell you just said because you're talking crazy. He got a phone call. Now, Irvin's point the first time was that, look, Dak Prescott, he's more than likely going to get tagged. At least that's what significant sources have told Irvin. He's going to get tagged 1 year, maybe 2 years like Kirk Cousins did back in the day. So if you're only going to play with Dak Prescott or ride him out on a 1 year kind of prove it again deal, why not go with a guy like Tom Brady who has proved it over the course of a decade and a half, moving to 2 decades now or over 2 decades. So I ride with Michael Irvin the first time. He just got that phone call, and so now he has to backpedal like Deion Sanders. I feel you, Mike. I feel you.
That perspective of if they tag him, it's a 1 or 2 year situation, you're absolutely correct. But right now, the Cowboys' perspective is that they still hope and believe that they can get a long-term deal done with Dak Prescott. There's some frustration that it hasn't gotten done yet. They feel they've made a strong competitive offer. My understanding is they're at about $33 million a year with $105 guaranteed. They felt like that might be enough to get it done. They're not intentionally lowballing the guy. They're just not at his number. And at this point, there really hasn't been movement on it since basically September. So I think we're reaching a point. We've talked a lot about flex points and leverage points in this. If he were to start to sit out parts of the offseason program, as we've discussed, it's voluntary. They can't criticize him for it. They can't even say we wish he was here. But if he did that, that would send them a message, and maybe they start taking it more seriously the way they did with Zeke last summer.
Here is the problem. Both sides are right. Dak Prescott, in theory and on paper, deserves more than $33 million. Not necessarily by how many games the Cowboys won this past year, but because if you look at standard market value, Dak deserves more than $33 million. But the Cowboys are smart. And they understand if we pay Dak $33 million, we're not going to win any meaningful games because our hands are going to be tied. Rather, if we pay him upwards of $37, $38, $39 million. Right. So both sides are right.
But it is your quarterback. You're a franchise quarterback who just made $2.1 million. And this could be an unprecedented move here if he decides to hold out. If you're Dak, would you hold out?
Absolutely. That's one of the easiest questions you've asked me, Nagandi, and it's not because it's the selfless thing to do. It's not because it's the best leadership thing to do as a quarterback. But here's what you've seen, Dak Prescott. Guys that hold out, they get what the heck they want. Whether it is Aaron Donald, whether it's your own teammate, Ezekiel Elliott, a guy who he was not the most clean guy rap sheet-wise off the field. No, he had a long rap sheet off the field for stupid off-the-field incidents. But Zeke held out. He was a distraction. He was selfish. He was everything negative, but he got his paper. And as soon as he got back on the field, everybody forgot.
And we've never seen this. Quarterbacks don't hold out.
Everyone should hold. I mean, this is their leverage, right? This is it. The system is stacked in favor of the teams and the owners. It absolutely is. The franchise tag, all that stuff. The only leverage is, okay, I won't play. And we've seen other players do it. We haven't seen a quarterback do it. Yeah. Hembo and I, we've been, putting our heads together trying to come up with one. There isn't one. So if he did it, it would be another seismic shift in this landscape toward the players understanding and being willing to exercise a level of leverage that they've always had and haven't always exercised.
I'll say this. It's unfortunate that this is a position that Dak is in and the players are in because nobody wants to have to act like a child to get what they think is reasonable and fair. But Dak Prescott, the Cowboys have shown you that if you do things the right way, if you are Mr. Star, if you go about your business properly, you're not going to get what you deserve. So sooner or later, you got to put your foot down and stop being Mr.
And then book a trip to Cabo.
We're so glad you're watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, make sure you subscribe to ESPN Plus. We'll see you there.